Hi, Alan Schimmel here for DevOps.com's DevOps TV. Does San Francisco 2016. Here with John Rez, Chris McFee, Keybank. They just came off the stage a little bit ago where they presented about Keybank's DevOps transformation. Gentlemen, before we start about the transformation, you know, there's a lot of banks in the world, obviously, and maybe some of folks in our audience may not be familiar with Keybank. Why don't we just kind of level set with that?
So Keybank is a top 25 bank in the United States. We're headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio. We are a Midwest and Northwest and Northeast bank. So we have 15 states that we cover. But our differentiators are, a big differentiator for us is our corporate bank. So our corporate has a lot of different versatility, a lot of different verticals that we support investment banking, we support capital markets, we support all types, even technology research, and so we have a lot of products that we can offer our clients from a corporate perspective. But yeah, we're excited to be here.
And from Cleveland, Ohio, home of the world champion Cleveland Cavaliers.
That's right.
And close to world champions, just this much, Cleveland Indians.
We're just, the funny part is the mood in Cleveland, in my opinion, is still really, good because we were involved in the best Game 7 that's ever been played.
Absolutely. And you did get, an NBA championship.
That's right.
If we could do something with those Browns now, you'll be okay.
We're thinking CFL maybe.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But guys, enough about Cleveland. I actually was familiar with Keybank, having grown up in the Northeast. So, financial services, FinServ has been a ripe ground for DevOps, which is kind of counterintuitive when you think about it, right? Because who would think of the financial services industry as one willing to do something risky or new that hasn't, been well vetted for 10 years before?
Yeah.
But yet we see a lot of banks that are doing DevOps. What was it that drove? What was the driving factor to have Keybank go off on this DevOps transformation?
So we grew up through acquisition, like a lot of other banks do, right? And with that you get a lot of complexity. So in order to maintain and keep things moving along in this really, really complex environment, you gain so much technical debt. And so for us at Key, it was a couple different things. One, reliability is like the most important thing from a bank's perspective. The reputational risk we have that says if our services are unavailable to our customers, that we really need to take that into account with everything we want to do. And so with that, we decided to invest in DevOps because it was going to help with reliability at the forefront. That was going to be one of our big things. The other pieces were cost. So cost obviously can be solved with a faster time to market, a faster release frequency. So that was another big reason why we wanted to invest in more of a DevOps transformation.
And then I think the third thing there is really about quality, right? So with utilizing some DevOps practices with continuous integration, running unit tests, making sure that you're running end-to-end regression tests, you can really try and get the defects before you get out into a production-like environment.
Sure. And in terms of getting the organization behind you to do this, how was it top down? Did you have to go get some executive sponsorship? Did the executives come to you guys and say, hey, I read about this cool thing, or I saw this book called Phoenix Project? How did that come out?
Well, obviously, Phoenix Project was probably at the forefront because it inspired a grassroots movement within the bank. But we weren't going to get anywhere if we didn't have CIO support and senior leadership support. So myself and some other of our change agents that were really passionate about this, we built what we called our elevator pitch, and we took that to the CIO.
Really?
And
that's great.
That's exactly what we did. And we tried to fill in as many gaps as we could that says, this is the team that's required. These are the projects we're going to start with. These are the metrics we're going to do. And it was metrics we cared about. It was like mean time to resolution, release frequency. It was those things. And that's really how we got started. When I went in to really pitch it to the CIO, was she going to say yes? Was she going to say no? I had no idea, but she really got on board. She was very excited about it. So yeah.
Excellent. So when did this start, by the way?
We actually started in January.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
This year.
This year.
This
January
year.
of 2016.
Yeah.
2016.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so you got about 10 months under your belt, 9 months, whatever.
Yep.
And that's what have the results been?
It's been amazing. So we knew we couldn't change the world overnight. We knew we couldn't change the organization overnight. So we really focused around embracing containers. We felt like that was going to be a very fast way and a very agile way for us to be able to start getting infrastructure automation. So that was a big focus. And then we also needed to know that we had to provide reliability. So that's where Kubernetes kind of came into play. And it didn't take a large team for us to really get that off the ground. It took several very strong technical folks that really said, hey, we can do this. We can actually build infrastructure images and then have them run on any type of immutable infrastructure. And if we can do that really fast, then we can assist the development teams. And about the same time, right before January of last year, we announced we were going to acquire First Niagara, which was another bank, and they were about half our size. And so we had to take that into account as part of our roadmap for how we were going to pull this off. Our project that we focused on was our online banking replatforming. It was already underway, but we wanted the infrastructure to move faster. We wanted to bring test automation to the forefront so that we weren't doing manual testing. And actually, we're in production within 7 months within January. And I'm super proud to say that we're a top 25 bank that's running Docker in production for online banking with Kubernetes supporting us
Very
from a
cool.
reliability perspective. And I
That
don't know
is
how
really
many other
cool.
banks can say that.
Hey,
so.
Keybank, Docker and Kubernetes, that's excellent, my guys. I'm proud of you. What was some of the biggest challenges, you think?
So I think the biggest challenge is culture. Change is difficult for people, myself included. So as you're starting to look at the way that you've done things and the way that you're going to do things in the future, or you want to do things in the future, kind of overcoming some of the culture bias or the bias of the change that needed to take effect. I think that was probably one of the biggest things. I don't know if you.
No, I think that's a big challenge. It was funny. The CIO, we were meeting basically monthly just to give updates on our progress. And as she was looking at this, she told us right away, change management is going to be your biggest problem, and she was so right. We moved from manual testing to automated testing, so that was taking. We originally actually tried to swap some of those resources, and that didn't really work out the way, any way whatsoever. So that was a big thing we had to figure out. And it's going to be an ongoing thing. Like I said, we kind of cheated by using containers because we didn't have to make the cultural shift within the technical operations group. But now that's our challenge. And I think we've got a very a good winning program, I guess is the way I would say it, to help us maybe enforce that change within the next year or two.
The other thing is we can learn a lot from the Targets, the Capital Ones, the Nordstroms, Courtney with Starbucks. That they've laid a framework that is repeatable, reusable. So as we try and overcome some of these challenges that come up, there are people in the industry that have already laid some of the groundwork that we can kind of follow and reuse some of their practices and patterns with what they've done. Target's Dojo is an amazing concept, so it'll be interesting to see how things go in the next year.
I think the other thing we would have stumbled upon, but we only swallowed so much scope. We didn't want to, and now we're challenged because we have a great success story. We've gone from a quarterly release cycle to being able to deploy once a week. And that's
impressive.
Yeah, it's an amazing metric. But now every project in the bank is saying, well, let's DevOpsify this thing.
Right.
And so we're
And that's
learning.
really where sometimes that's where the issue runs. It's great to run as an experiment. It's a whole nother thing to run as a way of doing the
Definitely.
whole industry, the
Yep.
whole enterprise.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how you
And
go
we
to
have
that next
plans. We like the DevOps Dojo model that Target is utilizing.
Mhm.
So we're going to initiate something like that at Key,
That'd
kind
be
of our
cool.
own little flavor of it. And then we have ideas around injecting maybe some what we call DevOps ninjas into
Mhm.
specific projects.
Excellent. Cool. Well, guys, that's about all the time we have for our interview right here. But you know what? This is a great story. Continued success at Keybank. Your CIO's name was
Amy Brady.
Amy Brady. Congratulations to her for believing in you and your and your plan and making it work.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good story.
All right.
Anyway, Keybank. This is Alan Schimmel for DevOps.com, DevOps TV. Here at Does San Francisco.